Carnegie playing from left to right towards the Carnegie stand end. What are we expecting this afternoon?
I think if we allude to Bedford, their game last week against Coventry finished with 1 point in it, but a 53-52 scoreline is huge. Like, for any spectator, over 100 points in a game is massive, so I think it'll be a thrilling day.
Gerard Williams takes the kick-off from Mumaga, kicked into touch on the halfway line. Is Elder going to take a quick one? No, he isn't. It's going to be touched just inside the Bedford half on this near side of the field. Victories in the Cup yesterday for Trailfinders, and London Irish are playing today, of course. So Donnellan to throw into the line-out, taken there by Dan Tem, and quickly in midfield is the birthday boy Lewis Wilson. Dips his shoulder, takes the contact, coming up to the 10-metre line of Bedford, goes to the far side, and it's Elijah Nico that takes it up to the 10-metre line. Almost lost the ball, but recycled, and quickly Tarua to Wilson. Second touch so far, early start here. A kick into space, Adamson goes across, and that's a really good kick there. Good game management from Carnegie.
Yeah, I think to go through some early phases is really good for us to build that bit of confidence, and just straight away we look so good, ball in hand, look strong carries. Lewis Wilson, Elijah, Dylan as well, just really putting the back on the back foot. So a smart decision to make Bedford exit and hopefully give us the ball back again. So
important to get into the opposition faces right from the kick-off. Exactly what England did to Ireland yesterday. So a line out 20 metres from the Bedford line, taken easily by the 6'7" captain Mark Flanagan. Ball kick to touch, and there's a fair number of Bedford fans who've travelled up to West Yorkshire for this fixture this afternoon.
It's a big occasion, mate, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Cup quarter-final in Leeds.
Just a quick word about your neck injury. I meant to say that right at the top.
Yeah, it's alright. Nah, I'm joking. I've got a disc bulge in my neck, which was caused against Richmond, and I did it in the preparation for Ealing, so an injection tomorrow, so hopefully fix that and get me going, hopefully for the Jersey game.
Line out one by Bedford, and it's the hooker Fields that has the ball at the tail. Box kick coming in from Lennon, the scrum half. Underneath it is the right wing, Harry Davey. Ball 35 metres from the Carnegie line. Good offload there from Donnellan in centre field. Ball goes to ground. Brasilia just looking at his options. It's going to be a forward pod. Head down. Good drive coming in from their man on loan from Bath, Will Britton. Just an extended leg there from the hooker. But it's Tarua that puts the crossfield kick. Elder is underneath it. It falls to Nico. Nico over the 10-metre line on the far side, up to the 22. Needs some support. Shrugs off. Well, he wasn't brought to ground immediately. Now it's recycled ball. Coming from deep is Wilson. That's a good charge there. Well met by Bedford defenders. Now Tarua across the 22. Head down. Romain, the second row, takes the ball. Now Tarua back inside to Elder. Elder held up by the captain Flanagan for Bedford. 20 metres out in centre field. A good take, good drive again from Romain. Second time he's been involved in the move. This is a good start to this game from Carnegie. Nico, ball out the far side, and it's the captain Mayhew that scores, loitering on the wing. What a start there from Carnegie.
Yeah, look, I think from them opening phases, we look so confident. We look like we want to be on the front foot and really taking it to Bedford. And the best thing about us having the ball is that they don't have it, and they're so deadly, especially on counter-attack. So Jade putting that kick into the corner really just takes their back three out of the game. We then start with the set piece, and I feel like we've started the game so well and so confidently that it can only bode well for the rest of the game.
It was obvious last week that they were trying to get Nico into the game as much as possible, but they couldn't. And early on, he's been 2 or 3 times the ball carrier, the main ball carrier.
Yeah, I think just having that variation in the midfield with Jacob being such a very skillful player, obviously played a lot of time at fly half and very dangerous with fullback, so to see him at 12 just offers that extra hands of distribution, and Elijah on his wing, very great skill set but big physical presence, can be dominant around the defence.
So Umaga with a touchline conversion on the far side, correct side for the right-footed kicker. He's given it a good strike. Oh, it's through the uprights. That is an excellent conversion and a perfect start for Carnegie, because, as you say, Josh, Bedford, they like to throw the ball about and they score tries.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Look, that's Bedford's biggest strength. So how we started getting kick into the corners, taking them out of the game is perfect.
Restart is long, and it's Nico that takes it outside the 22. Brasilia just looking at his options. He goes down the narrow side, and that's Tem. He's lightning quick. The Kiwi played sevens for England. Good physical work as well from Carnegie. There's no half measures. Long pass there, just a hint that it could have been intercepted, but Umaga's done ever so well. He doesn't look to be the biggest, but physically he can break a tackle. There's Donnellan, the hooker, 30 metres out from the Carnegie line, 15 metres in from this near touchline. Brasilia's going to go the aerial route. Oh, he's not got the kick on that he wanted, and now it's Bedford that have it back in their own half. It's the fullback Adamson, 9 tries in the league to the number 15, but that's a poor kick. Elder there, seen some space, and Josh Bainbridge was pointing the way. It wasn't the best of kicks in the end, and there was a lot of space. Umaga takes it on the 10-metre line, inside to Tarua, over the halfway line. Whoa, breaks an easy tackle, looks to offload, can't get it, goes to ground, 35 metres out. And a good combination from the second rows in centre field. 38 metres out, and it's Foster that takes the ball and pops it on to Wilson, birthday boy. Tarua, Nico, oh, he's found a gap there, up to the 22, offloads to Umaga. Umaga offloads again to... This time it's Tem that goes across, and we've had 2 tries in 8 minutes.
I think just looking at that from our work in the week, we identified one thing with Bedford, that when they've got the ball they're so dangerous, and making them not have the ball, we can attack against them because we think that their defence is very disjointed, and so far the prep we've done in the week is paying off, and I think the scoreline reflects how hard we have worked this week.
Well, after those 2 tries, Bedford will realise that they can't put loose kicks downfield to Carnegie because they are in counter-attack mode. And Umaga, he won't be thanking his forwards for scoring, because he's got a conversion from exactly the same spot that he nailed the previous one. So Carnegie lead Bedford with the conversion to come by 12 points to 0, and we've played 8 minutes of this quarter-final of the Championship Cup. Umaga taking his time. The Rhinos will not be playing on here for something like 5 weeks, and by that time the rugby cricket stand should have all its seating in for that game. He's kept it low. Has he got a good strike on it? No, he hasn't. Just faded. So 1 from 2 for Jacob Umaga. His dad will have been long retired before you started playing at this level, but he's in the stand. Noticed he's here watching his son, and he was absolute concrete. Nico, if you're going to restart, do not aim the ball at Nico.
I feel like Bedford need to look at their restarts. From the start of the game, they're going to have a few of them today, so they could really start to work on them.
Donnellan punching holes at the far side of the field. Now carry from the second rows. Ball's just loose there, but does eventually come back the way of Carnegie. And Brasilia puts up the kick again. Tem is chasing it on the far side. Denby as well. And in fact, it was Watkins on the far side. It's Jared Williams. And now a chance, first time in the match for Bedford to counter-attack. Hardly been in the Carnegie half. There's a determination about the home side. Early days, of course, don't want to put a curse on it. Little pop pass in centre field from Bedford. Now they look to spread it, but suffocating tackling from Carnegie. Good line speed as well. Williams to his fly half. Robling, who throws the ball, kicks the ball downfield. Tarua puts one up for Elder to chase. It's going to land 38 metres from the Bedford line. Play on, says the referee. No, he doesn't. And the referee, Maxwell Keys, gives a knock on to Bedford. At the moment, the visitors, Bedford, they don't seem to have any structure about them.
I feel like that's a bit of a theme of their season, though, and what pays them very well is just playing so sharp and so off the cuff. But I feel like Carnegie's defence quite early there, they're not allowing Bedford to gain momentum with the carries, so they resort to the kick, and that's perfect for us because we don't want Bedford to have the ball. We want to keep the pressure on them, and they haven't really come inside our half so far, so I feel like our game plan's being executed pretty smartly, to be fair.
So scrum down 35 metres from the Bedford try line in centre field. As a back row, if Bedford's put in, what are you looking for in this situation as the front rows go to ground and will have to be reset?
So just on this, obviously the first thing you do is you scan the back line, see what threats they pose, and from your prep in the week you do a lot of preview around looking at formations of scrums and lineouts, and hopefully you look at the formation of this back line and see some recognition or similar themes from what you previewed. From that you'd have a good understanding of where the ball's going to end up, but from this one and from what I've seen, it looks like a new combination, so you've just got to defend the ball and defend the threat and try and use the touchline as your 16th defender.
Scrum is messy and they weren't engaged. The referee just wants it set again. From this setup, Bedford have two players. Their fly half looks like their full-back standing directly behind the scrum, and they've got two players to the right and two players to the left. Looks as if they're going to really attack this one if they can win the scrum.
From the formation they've got two wingers right on the chalk and the paint. The obvious thing to do looking at our backfield is to try and find grass, but it looks like they're going to have a really good run threat here.
That's a solid scrum. It's coming back the way of Bedford, but slow. Did he say not hooking the ball?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So it's going to be a free kick. Brazilian, he likes to get his presence felt. And now they're going to re-scrum. And they're moving the scrum to the right-hand side of where it was. This time it'll be Carnegie's put in. I love scrummaging, but fans on the whole don't.
Boring, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you're more of a flair player as a back row, so you've got to put your shift in at the scrum now, haven't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a huge part of the game.
It's a scrum down. Front rows go to ground. Another free kick. This time it's tapped by Brasilia. He has Tem outside him. Tem up to the 22. Just couldn't get loose. Now it goes to Nico on the far side. Coming back inside is Watkins. He was hugging the touchline, 20 metres from the Bedford line. In centre field it's Cian Romain, the Irishman. To Tarua, now Foster to the 22. They've come back to go forward. Tarua just looking at the back line. This is good work, and it's a back inside. Oh, the ball back inside to Dan Tem. He couldn't take it. He knocked it on, and he'll be as disappointed with that as anybody. Looked as if Carnegie had their third try, wasn't to be. But good work and dangerous. Carnegie look dangerous every time they get the ball.
I feel like that's the confidence we've got to take from that passage of players. Look, we've gone through a lot of phases. We've gone from one side of the pitch to the other, and we've created a huge opportunity. It's just unfortunate that time we can't get the try down. But look, it's a great attacking position for us yet again. Look, Bedford are camped deep inside their half.
The Championship Cup rugby here on BBC Radio Leeds. We've played 15 minutes in this first half. Carnegie almost with a third try, but they've scored two already through Dan Tem and Rich Mayhew. Back rows getting on the score sheet. One of those converted by Umaga, hence the 12-0. That's a solid scrum from Carnegie. Bedford go to ground but play on, and it's Williams that picks up. He's done ever so well. He's made 10 metres from a dangerous position. Cleared, well, Bedford will be able to clear their lines from this position. Forwards just again lengthening their legs, letting the scrum half have plenty of time to kick this into touch. Davey takes it, thinks about a quick one, never going to take it. And the line out on this near side of the field is 30 metres from the Bedford line, who have, well, apart from kicking the ball downfield, I don't think they've been in the Carnegie half so far. 16 minutes, we're in the 16th minute of this first half.
I'd like to see the difference between Bedford playing at home against Coventry and Bedford today, because so far they just haven't looked anything that we previewed.
Well, if anybody's been to Goldington Road, they've got a huge slope and they play it ever so well. The line out is taken by Romain. Now the forwards drive on. Donovan's got it. Brasilia wants to get his hands on it, but the hooker is not letting him have it at the moment. Not sure if the referee's playing advantage. Tarua with a kick through. Nico, is this going to bounce up nicely? Steps inside the fullback, comes over. Third try of the afternoon. Simple as that. A lovely kick from Jake Tarua. And Nico was Johnny on the spot. Bounced nicely for him, it must be said, but you earn your luck, and he's got a try, and Carnegie add to their total with the conversion to come. They lead by 17 points to 0.
I feel like Steve Bowden would be really happy with that. We had a big theme this week with trying to get the maul going forward, and we successfully did that with a late sack. So to then use the advantage to something we prepped and that just little grubber in behind, and for it to come off, and especially Elijah's to score, I feel like he deserves that after the start he's made in this game.
He's a big physical presence, isn't he?
Yeah, look, I think he's about 105 kilos playing in the backs. Very physical, powerful, strong, great addition to our squad.
Umaga with the conversion, 18 metres out, just to the right hand side of the uprights. One step back through the middle, and Carnegie lead Bedford Blues here at Headingley Stadium by 19 points to 0. A confident start, perhaps the best start of the season so far from Carnegie.
I feel like the most pleasing thing is we've got 19 points on the board, and some games we played we haven't actually managed to get to 19 points, so for us to be looking dangerous this early on is fantastic.
And some of the games that Carnegie have played, that they've had their chances and just not been able to take them, or they've given away penalties when the line is begging, but they've been very clinical so far this afternoon as the forwards take the ball outside the 22 on the far side of the field. Brasilia, this is going to be a ball for Tem. He was looked as if he was in front of the kicker. He's going to have to check his run, which he did. Bedford have the ball up to their 10-metre line. I think that might be Adamson that has managed to elude the defence, but again a good tackle coming in. I think it was Foster that just disturbed the pass from Bedford, and now they drive on through Bugia, former Hartbury and Worcester man. Penalty given away by Carnegie. I think that's the first penalty that Carnegie have conceded in this game, and we've played 19 minutes. Penalty count against Richmond a couple of weeks ago was horrendous, 8 in the first half, but only 1 in the second when they came back to score, what was it, 22 unanswered points.
I think it was the subs that day had a huge impact.
Who would they have been? I wonder.
I can't actually remember. If you get the team sheet up, mate, you might see some familiar names.
Yeah, has that person got a neck injury at the moment, I wonder?
Yeah.
Line out to Bedford, first attacking position for them. Tem got a big paw, and the ball comes down the side of Carnegie. Great work from the Kiwi number 8. I'm not sure if he likes to be called a Kiwi because he played sevens for England, but he was certainly born in New Zealand. Box kick is contested by Harry Davey. Ball comes back the other way of Bedford. Now they look to spread it wide, and it's Jared Williams that is the link man. Nico's there, he's having to do some tackling duties. Bedford on the Carnegie 10-metre line. First incursion, meaningful incursion, and the ball is spilled. Brasilia has it. Good dancing from Brasilia. Thought he was going to be tackled, but he wasn't, and he went again. No, no scrum half. Tem is the scrum half. Tarua dances back inside, evades the tackle, then knocks the ball forward. Williams has it. Where is this? Maxwell Keys is going to have to stop play. It'll be a knock on and a scrum down to Bedford. First real mistake there from Carnegie in this match. We played 20 minutes, they lead by 19 points to 0.
I liked what Jade was trying to do there. We were going to try and play to this edge and put it into the space, because Bedford had only one back, but the Bedford defence there just flying on him and were unable to execute that pass, so it gives Bedford a real platform here to actually try and attack 20 minutes in.
20 minutes in, yes, and Carnegie with 3 tries, Mayhew, Tem and Nico. 2 of those converted by Jacob Umaga. There's an injury to a Carnegie player. It's Brasilia, is it? Yeah. He's a chunky little scrum half. Took him a while to get used to Carnegie, but he's certainly playing as well as he can at the moment. So scrum down to Bedford, just to the right-hand side of midfield. The right-hand side if you are Bedford, that is. So they've loaded the left-hand side of the scrum, which is 38 metres out. So first real attacking set play for Bedford. Now they go to the right-hand side, a little stab through. It's going to go into touch and be a line out to Carnegie, 10 metres from their try line on the far side of the field. Interesting that it was a good kick in the end, but it was interesting that he did that, the fly half, rather than keep the ball in hand.
Yeah, I think Bedford so far, they've been lucky to get through one set of 5 phases, and we're 20 minutes in, so they are doing it, they are kicking in behind us. I'm just trying to figure out why they'd want to do that, especially this early on, and with the score as big as it is. I feel like if it was closer, if it was 0-0 or 7-5, I'd understand that, try and put the pressure back on us, but the minute, especially the lineup, we look quite comfortable.
So it's a 4-man line-out, and the captain Mayhew is the scrum half, and it's taken by Tem. And now they look to move away from their try line. Just trying to create some space for the kick. Tarua's waiting for it, but Brasilia takes it and kicks the ball, and that's a good kick, but it's quickly taken on the halfway line by Bedford. The ball had gone into touch. Now Adamson, 9 tries in the league, offloads to his back row partner Worthington, just inside the Carnegie half of the field. Maxwell Keys just telling Carnegie briefly to get back on side. Good work from Bedford, just swivelling out of the tackle. Oh, was that crossing? No, it wasn't. Now the ball is knocked down in centre field, and coming away with it is Nick Mayhew, but he's enveloped, taken to ground. Carnegie on their 10-metre line. That was a forward pass, surely. Carnegie got away with it. Tarua with the ball in one hand, over the halfway line, breaks 3. As Brasilia outside him, should have found him. He took the tackle instead. Now the scrum half throws a pass there to Wilson, which was way above his head. He had no chance of holding on to that one. The referee is saying there was a double knock on, the first one coming from Carnegie. And I won't ask you to comment on whether or not he should have passed the ball to Brasilia inside him, but it was a good break from Tarua. He's just looking at his options and just seeing what's in front of him.
I feel like the right decision was not to pass. Just if he had a passed and then Jade had been blocked, how many people could have actually got to that breakdown? So for Jay to still be on his feet and Jade take the tackle, that actually sped up the ball, and we could have distributed it really well. It was just a shame that pass from Jay didn't go to hand and Lewis ended up knocking it on. But I feel like Carnegie are really starting to put together some dangerous attack, and I'd love it by come the second half. The chances we are creating with clinical, we can take them and really start to punish Bedford, because at the minute all it takes is 3 sloppy kicks from us and Bedford are back in the game with a dangerous counter-attack. So I feel like that's where Carnegie are. We are with our season, we are in the cup, got to be able to flick that switch and really punish a team.
You've got to have the killer instinct, haven't you?
Yeah, correct.
But Bedford are building back into this game after a very slow start, and really you want to suffocate that right at the start of any counter that Bedford may think that they can mount. So it's going to be a scrum down in centre field. Bedford to put into this through their scrum half, James Lennon, who is an Irish under-20, although he was actually born in Enfield. Pick up by Williams on the far side, go to the right-hand side, a long pass, well taken into touch there by Watkins. He's got good footwork as George Watkins, but this time it was his tackling ability that prevented Bedford getting out to their half, and it'll be a line out to Carnegie on the far side. They're just having a huddle, and Maxwell Keys, the referee, just wants them to hurry up. Good defensive qualities from Carnegie, but Bedford really showing the touchline, helping Watkins make that tackle.
I feel like the pass accuracy well just bought Carnegie some time there. If that was more accurate, it could have been really dangerous.
So 10 won the line out, and Carnegie go down the middle of the field through their captain, but there was no way through. Tarua with a clever little kick there that bounces, fortunately for the Bedford defenders, to have a go. Now a long kick downfield from Adamson. Umaga tries to catch it, but it went backwards. Just looks to find some space. That's gone directly to touch. It'll be a line out. So first mistake there from Carnegie, following on from the pass, or second mistake. And it'll be a line out 30 metres from the Carnegie line on this near side of the field. We've got a countdown clock that says we've got 13 minutes and 30 seconds of this first half to play in the quarter-final of the Championship Cup. Carnegie lead by 19 points to nil here on BBC Radio Leeds. The line-out is one without any pressure being put on Bedford, and quickly in centre field, 33 metres away from the Carnegie line. Referee says the ball is there for anybody to pick up, but it was Bedford that had hands on it first. Now they test Carnegie down the right-hand flank. I think that's Fields for Bedford that take it, and now Williams again, who didn't have a lot of game time when he played at Carnegie. Many thought that he should have. Now Bedford looking dangerous, physical as well, almost into touch, but it went off the legs of Dan Tem, and it will be a line out to the visitors just inside the 10-metre line of Carnegie on this near side.
I think just looking at that last passage from Bedford, they really are struggling to achieve something that we had a similar line out there maybe 5 minutes ago, and in terms of field position they're not really creating anything that's making us feel under threat.
So line out is thrown to the tail, but good disruption. And I don't know what it is with that ball, but Dan Tem for the second time has knocked the ball on in open play. He was carrying it, and it's just one of those things.
I have to credit Bedford for is that covering tackle on Tem. He dislodged the ball. The hooker there is just underthrown something which was wide open, and Kieran Main disrupted, but his next job was to try and get the ball back, and he's successfully done that with now having the Bedford scrum. I just feel like the little things like that which can creep into a game, Bedford are reacting really well off.
So scrum down to the visitors, 38 metres from the Carnegie line. It's a good scrum from Carnegie, but it comes back rather hurriedly to the scrum half, Lennon, for Bedford Blues. Now taken on by Fields, former Bath Academy man. First meaningful period of play from the visitors, building themselves into this game. 10 with a tackle. Again, 38 metres out. They haven't got across the gain line yet. They may well do here. Williams and a little pop inside ball from the prop McCarthy. Bedford up to the 22. Tackle there from Elder needed to be made as well, and the Bedford player had his foot in touch, and they are building themselves into this game. Carnegie just need to get downfield and kill this game off with another try.
I think we owe Bedford a congratulations there. They've actually successfully gained field position through an attack, so thanks for turning up 30 minutes into the game, I think we need to say.
Do those calls come onto the field from the coach, or is it just something instinctively that players need, they know that they need to do to just retain possession, go through the phases?
I feel like players, smart players or players in specific positions, have a very good understanding of what needs to be done at certain times, but to achieve it, say you've had 5 errors and you've got a scrum on your 5 metre, it's very hard to achieve field position in that moment. It might take the next 5 minutes to actually find some sort of outcome from what the coaches want you to achieve. So I think, look, rugby is a very complicated game, but I feel like Bedford now are starting to turn that switch and actually putting into practice what we've been previewing for the last week.
Well, there was an injury there to Foster, Andy Foster, the prop forward for Carnegie, but the line out now is to take place 18 metres from the Carnegie line and taken by Tem. He's the go-to man. A little ball there that Wilson had to stretch for, and he did well to hold on to it. It wasn't the best pass from the captain, Mayhew. Brazilier to complete the exit strategy from Carnegie. Puts the ball into touch, safety first from the Carnegie scrum half. It'll be a line out to Bedford, and it's one of those areas that Carnegie traditionally are very good at, and they have been very good today in the lineup. We've got under 9 minutes of normal time remaining. There will be a little bit of injury time. Bedford send their prop forward to relay the line-out calls to their hooker fields. They go to the tail, and this time it is successful. They're going to punch up the middle. Little handoff there on Tarua, but a second tackle comes in for the fly half, and Bedford retain possession on the far side of the field, 30 metres out. What Carnegie do not want to do here is to allow the visitors any score whatsoever. Discipline will be the key. In centre field, Bedford still retain possession. Back inside to Hutler. Hutler breaking free. Good tackle from Elder, back to his feet, but Bedford retain possession. There are men over here if they can get it wide. And oh, a missed pass, but it's taken at the second attempt by Fields. Not sure what he was doing in that position, but he was Johnny on the spot, and he needed to be as well. That's Penny, former Trailfinders prop, that goes in, and good tackling and defence from Carnegie. Just aligned across their 20-metre line. The rugby league markings on this pitch. 7 minutes and a bit remaining in this first half, plus injury time, and Bedford, now they look dangerous. A little ball there to nobody in particular, and Mayhew takes it. Now Foster's broken out the 22 to Elder, over the 40 metre, over the halfway. Can he go all the way? He might well do. Over the 22. Will this be the 4th try? It is. Oh, what a try from Carnegie. And the man he has to congratulate, Elder will congratulate Andy Foster. He was down injured about 2 minutes ago. He broke through the 22. I think he was more amazed than anybody that he hadn't been tackled. What a try from Carnegie.
We've really got to congratulate the Carnegie defence there. Look, we conceded a mini line break to about 5 metres out. We end up scoring. I think defensively we've just created a try, and that shouldn't be overlooked. Our pressure and defence is outstanding. Some huge collisions going in out there, some which I'm very jealous of. I'd love to be out there participating in that, but that is what's just caused that try, and for Fozzie to get a half line break and offload to Elder is outstanding, and something which is really, really good and great to see. It could be our best performance of this season. And
you must congratulate Elder. He was on the end of a great pass as Umaga converts that try, and Carnegie now lead by 26 points to 0. But Elder had to be aware of what was happening and see the break that was coming.
Just outstanding. Something we've had a bit of a theme of is playing in the moment and playing what we see, and that awesome blood and support there from Chris was outstanding. So it's really, really good to see.
Restart is fielded by Carnegie on the far side, just outside their 22, a couple of metres in from that far touchline. And I think that's Wilson that's carrying the ball out. Just 21 today. We forget from this position that we have just how young some of these players are, and they've still got a fair bit of physical development to do. The box kick is going nowhere, and Rich Mayhew is making a nuisance of himself, but it's Adamson from Bedford that picks up the bits and pieces, and they're quickly within 35 metres. They come back inside. Bedford with light blue jerseys on and blue numbers that are very difficult to see. A kick over his shoulder, and back there is the left wing Watkins rescuing the situation. Elder pummels the ball upfield. This is going to land on the Bedford 10-metre line. Now it trickles towards the 22 in centre field with 4.5 minutes, and then it was knocked on, as you can tell from the delight of the crowd. Rich Lane, former Saints Academy man, is the guilty culprit. Alongside him is the former Welsh international Chris Chekai, who's we've hardly given him a name check this afternoon. Those things can happen, can't they? Speculative kick.
I'm not sure if you watched the French-Welsh game at the weekend.
I did indeed.
I felt so bad for the French.
Yeah.
It shows you though, look, a few errors in a game can have such a...
Uge it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's such a good player.
Oh, he's outstanding. He was awesome in attack in the first half.
Yeah.
I was listening to Talksport earlier, and they were saying that the French there was like 2 teams in France that day. It was like the first half unbelievable, second half the B team came out.
Yeah. And I've got to say, wearing my Welsh hat, the comeback was amazing. Amazing to be in front of a hostile crowd away from home, and what was it, 16-0 down, and
it's like Carnegie against Richmond.
It was indeed, yeah. Subs made the difference, didn't they, that day?
Yeah.
Yes. So scrum down in centre field. 3 minutes remaining of normal time. That's a solid scrum from Carnegie. They could go left, they could go right. They go to their right, but it's a bad pass, and they just had to check themselves. The ball in the hands of Davey. On the 22, lays the ball back. Brazilian with a loose pass. I think he had his arm taken as he was trying to pass the ball, and Bedford intercept. But what can they do from this position? They're coming up to their 10-metre line, and Carnegie just a blanket of green defenders. Good line speed. Ball carried from Penny in centre field. Just can't get through at the moment. Penny again with the black scrum cap on. Bedford look as if they're puzzled by what's going on, and Williams knocks the ball on. Romain on the floor trying to rescue this one back, and in fact it was Will Britton who gets to his feet. It'll be a knock on. Scrum down in centre field, and I think it was just Brazilier's pass. He just had his arm checked, I think, as he tried to get the ball away. Gave Bedford the chance to turn it over.
If you were the Bedford coach, what would you say to them at half-time?
Get your act together.
That's
why I'm not a coach.
That's
all I'd say. And where's my coffee? That's the other thing I'd say. Did I thank you? Anyway, the listeners will want to know that Josh Bainbridge went and got me a coffee before we came on air. He took forever to do it, mind, but grateful for him nonetheless. Scrum in centre field, 35 metres out. Goes to ground. Maxwell Keys sensibly plays on 10, picks up to Brasilia. Coming from deep is Umaga. Looked a slightly high tackle, but play on. Sensible work as Wilson, wearing 6, takes the ball in and then he spills it. Bedford could well counter-attack from here, but this isn't the day that Carnegie's going to let the opposition have easy chances. A scrap on the floor. Slow ball for the Vistas. Now it does come back, and big tackles coming in on Bugia. Can't get out of their own 40-metre area at the moment, such is the determination, and Tem goes straight through the middle of that ruck, but Bedford come back with the ball. Tackles coming in, raining in from Davey. again, big ball carrying from Alex Penny. But Bedford still only 30 metres from their line. We've just got 20 seconds of normal time. There will be injury time to play. A real scrap on the floor. And noticeable, Josh Bainbridge, that Carnegie are not giving away soft penalties.
I think that's something that's just really pleasing with our defence now. Look, we're not coming out or defending easily. They're going to go through the phases, and at some point Bedford have got to kick us the ball back. They can't keep attacking.
Nobody is shooting out to the defensive line at the moment, and Tem goes through the middle legally, but just does come back the way of Bedford Blues. Brasilia with a good tackle, and immediate is latched onto the ball, but the referee says get your hands off. Penny again, he's a big ball carrier, and it takes two to bring him down, but such is the determination of Donnellan and of Will Britton, the man on loan from Bath for the third time. He must like it up here.
I think he does, yeah. I seen his Instagram saying he was coming back to Leeds, so I was really excited to have him in. He adds something a lot different to what we have here, so I think he's a real credit to Bath, and especially the way he's been played when he has come here.
I wonder if he's a Leeds United fan. You're a Middlesbrough fan.
Yeah.
Where are they in the table?
Just under Leeds, I think, mate.
Elder tries to break out. He goes to ground, but immediately gets up to his feet. Now Brasilia to Tarua. Tarua, oh, not sure what on earth was going on there. Umaga just overran it, and the ball comes back the way of Bedford. We're playing injury time here at Emerald Headingley Stadium. Bedford just offloading. Nobody wants to take the responsibility except for Worthington, who does take the direct route. Now Bedford still in their own half, but only just over the halfway line. On this near side of the field, Umaga making a nuisance of himself, as is Donnellan. Now the ball comes through to Penny, and it's the scrum half, Lennon, who finds himself in centre field. A marvellous mazy run. Rich Mayhew takes him down 20 metres from the Carnegie line. Which way is this ball coming? There's a real scrap for possession. Elder, was he offside? No, he wasn't. The ball was out, says the referee, but it's still a mess. And now Bedford pick and drive. Still 20 metres from the Carnegie line. Penalty conceded by Bedford. That was great defence and great discipline as well from the Carnegie forwards. And Carnegie lead by 26 points to nil. 4 tries to nil.
I just feel like with Carnegie there, since Steve Bowden's taken over the defence, it's showing how hard he's worked on implementing something which he's very passionate about, and for Carnegie to be 26-0 up against one of the best attacking sides in the competition, I think it proves huge credit to him and the way the boys have bought into what he wanted to do, so big credit to Steve, to be honest. Well,
you use that phrase there, they bought into it, because you can see the way that they are tackling, that there's not an inch being there's nothing being shirked at all by Carnegie this afternoon.
No, I think Bedford would have previewed us against Ealing and seen that our defence was probably a big weakness in how we performed that day, but today I think the preview they've done, they've probably come up against the opposite and are finding this a real tough encounter.
So that penalty was kicked to touch on the far side of the field. The line out is one at the front. Carnegie, not sure they're going to be that expansive with the clock in injury time. Indeed they're not. Brasilia had the word from the referee. He kicks the ball into touch, and that ends the first half of this quarter-final of the Championship Cup. Carnegie lead by 26 points to nil, and they've stifled everything that Bedford have thrown at them.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think the half-time chat for Carnegie will be very, very positive. The only negativity that could be in there is that we've bombed a couple of chances to really put the pressure on Bedford, but 26-0 down, it's going to be some comeback for Bedford or some mountain to climb for them to even start to come back into this game.
Change your game plan. That's not what Carnegie need to do. Just carry on as they did in the first half.
I think what Steve Bowden and Chris Sterling would have alluded to is just the unforced errors that are gifting Bedford the ball, and one thing we started off doing really well was just making sure we had it and played them into certain areas of the pitch. So if we can work hard at just retaining the ball, I think we'll come out of this game on the right side.
Just having a look, see if there are any changes at half-time in the Carnegie lineup. can't see any. So it's as you were at the start of this fixture, and why would you change a winning combination so early in this encounter? 40 minutes played, 40 minutes to get into the semi-final of the Championship Cup, where Carnegie will be away, but we're not sure as yet who they'll be playing. May well be London Irish. Restart is deep, and it finds Watkins on the far side of the field, outside the 22. A carry from the forwards, head down. It's Wilson, the 21-year-old, who takes the ball out of the 22. Maxwell Keys making sure that Bedford stay onside. Brazilian with a box kick. Watkins is chasing this one, but it comes down to Bedford, and Umaga tries to drag his opposite number to the halfway line. So Bedford are making substitutions at half-time. We'll bring you up to date with those. A raft of them by the sounds of it from the PA. But it is the second rower and captain Flanagan that takes the ball up to the 10-metre line of Carnegie. This is a much better start to this second period from Bedford. There's a player down. It looks as if that's Ed Taylor, who at one time was on a dual registration with Rotherham from Worcester. He's down, and such is the colour of the Bedford jerseys that it's hard to make out those numbers. You've got younger eyes than me.
Hey?
You've got younger eyes than me.
You know, I asked you the question about what Bedford might say at half-time. I think he was pretty blunt in what he said. He just said, "You're off, you're off, you're off, and you're off." Because he's made 4 changes.
Yes, that's exactly what he said. And Chris Sterling has the luxury of staying with the starting 15. No doubt we'll see a raft of changes as the game goes on, if only to give players a run out. But that's preempting things. Rich Mayhew is having his right leg attended to. Not sure if he's twisted that knee, but there's no play because Ed Taylor is going to be taken off the field. He's on his feet, and it's just his left leg that is taking the weight. The right leg is up in the air, so Bedford will have to make yet another substitution.
Further request for Bedford, leaving the field, number 4, Ed Taylor, and coming on number 20, Will Carrick-Smith.
Well, Will Carrick-Smith is 6'11".
Wow. I'd love to see his parents. They're probably both 5 foot tall.
Yeah, well, he can see him. So scrum down just inside the Carnegie half of the field in centre field, and it'll be Bedford to put into this scrum. The referee stopped play when the second row Taylor was down injured. So important that Carnegie reassert their dominance, but this time it's Bedford that have the nudge on. Penalty conceded by Carnegie, a rare penalty in this cup tie, conceded by the home side.
Straight away, I think you can see the huge momentum shift of the game. We could be saying after this 40 minutes it's going to be a tale of 2 halves.
Well, that's a good penalty kick from centre field to within 12 metres, 11 metres of the Carnegie line on this near side of the field. So a little bit of a momentum shift at the moment, but early days. We've played 4 minutes of this second half. And Dan Thames protesting to the referee about something. It's a full line out, thrown by the substitute hooker Charlie Clare. Now Bedford, through their forwards, look to drive from this set piece, but good disruption from Carnegie. It's all hands to the pump. Nick Mayhew putting his weight in and disrupting it. And Tem is being told by the replacement scrum half, Lee Dixon, the England international, is on. He's retiring at the end of this season, the man capped 18 times by England. former Saintsman, of course. Bedford carrying the ball towards the centre of field, 20 metres out. Dixon making his presence felt immediately, telling his forwards that he wanted the ball. And it is quick ball now from Bedford. A little loop round from the left wing. Good defensive work though from Carnegie, good line speed as well. The ball is loose. Which way is this going? Oh, great dive on there. Didn't see who it was that got to the...
Wilson.
Oh, he's played well. Carnegie coming out there 22, but the ball was knocked forward, I think.
I think straight away you just alluded to Dixon coming on there. Look how fast the ruck speed has been for Bedford straight away. Just getting them on the front foot. It just affects our defence and how quickly we can actually get set. Look, in the first half we were waiting for them so much, but now with that ruck speed so high, so fast, Dixon's dictating play and really putting Bedford in the right areas.
Well, Lee Dixon is, as there's an injury to Nick Mayhew, the number one, the prop forward, said that Lee Dixon's retiring from rugby. He's going to be the rugby master at Barnard Castle School, starting, I assume, in September of this year. And off the top of my head, I can't remember, there's a couple of Carnegie players went to Barnard Castle School. Not sure if it was...
I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure. All the good Carnegie players went to Prince Henry's anyway.
They went to where?
Prince Henry's.
Oh yeah, they did, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And what school did you go to?
Prince Henry's.
That's a surprise. Mayhew's still getting some attention here, so no player at the moment. It'll be a scrum down to Bedford as Carnegie look to get out of their 22, but just a little temporary, well, we hope it's a temporary blip in their forward progress. They lead by 26 points to 0 as Maxwell Keys blows hot air onto his hands. It's a cold day, but not blisteringly cold as it has been on previous occasions. Mayhew getting a lot of attention. Tom Hill and Sam Nixon on the bench for Carnegie, but no sign of, I can't see any sign. Oh, they are warming up. There's players behind the posts warming up, but he doesn't want to leave the field of play. So it'll be a scrum down. We are ready and set to go. Bedford to put in. Dixon to feed. Taking the time to get this engaged. Now they do. Front rows go to ground. It's going to be reset. It's impossible as a referee, particularly most referees are former backs, to know what's going on in the front row. As a flank forward, you, I assume, have an idea who has the upper hand in the front row, but
I think the first thing we could start talking about, though, regarding the scrum in the first half, you could say that Carnegie had the dominance, but this being now the second scrum, the first one Bedford had was a penalty to them, so this could be a major factor in a turn in the game which can put them on the front foot.
And that's another solid scrum from Bedford. They've got the nudge on. Dixon picks up across the 3/4, a loop there with the fly half Roblin to within 8 metres of the Carnegie line. Now they go back in centre field, and it's Clare, the replacement hooker, that's very, very close to the line. The referee is playing advantage. It's going to be a penalty to Bedford. Dixon throws out a long pass, and again it's the right winger that comes off into centre field. Tapley, the Australian. Bedford, much better performance at the start of this second period. Carnegie lead by 26 points to 0, but for how long? The ball goes behind the, I think it was Carrick Smith that was the ball carrier, but the ball went behind. The referee was playing advantage. It'll be a penalty to Bedford. And will they go for a scrum, because they've been dominant in this second half? At the start of it, we've played 9 minutes. Oh, and it's tapped by Williams, the referee. I'm not sure why he's called that back.
I think Joe tapped it too far away from the mark.
That's pedantic, isn't it?
Looks like there could be some barbarians rugby here.
So they've the ball was tapped by Williams, took it quickly from 5 metres out, but from the wrong spot, so Maxwell Key calls them back. And Lee Dixon is just having a word with the referee. I think he feels he was being pedantic, but Bedford have now opted for a scrum 5 metres from the Carnegie line to the hand side, a couple of metres to the right hand side of the uprights. Defensive duties for Carnegie. They need to put a better shove in at scrum time on this occasion. Bedford looking dangerous. Free kick conceded by Carnegie, quickly taken by Williams, and he's driven back. Good work from Carnegie. Have they held him up? In there is Foster. He's doing his best. The ball goes to ground. The referee blows his whistle. It's another free kick. I'm not sure why he's getting the free kick, but defensively, Carnegie are light on the far side of the field. Fortunately for them, it's just a tap, and it's the forwards, the Bedford forwards, that drive up to the line, very close to their post. Have they managed to get this down? No, they're not. They're short of the line. The referee says it's held up off the ground. It'll be a scrum down, put into Carnegie. They were under severe pressure there, Josh, and they rode it.
I feel like one of the strengths of Carnegie in the first half was our defence, and to come out of the last 10 minutes having been camped on our own 5 metre line, having that turnover there is outstanding, and credit to Steve Bowden yet again for his defensive work.
And when you're under that kind of pressure and you see the way that the tide looks as if it's turning in Bedford's favour, do you carry on with the same game plan, or do you just hoof the ball as far downfield as you possibly can?
I feel like one of our exit strategies is just to hoof it as far as we can, but look, coming into this week we have to kick clever, because Bedford probably have the most dangerous back three in the league, so especially coming on to the latter stage of the game when boys are getting fatigued, and we could really start to make Bedford look good if we come away from our strict game plan. Well,
no action at the moment. Will Britton is down, getting some attention, and it'll be a scrum 5 metres away from the Carnegie line with Brasilia to feed, so the danger is still ever present. Carnegie lead by 26 points to 0. We've played 12 minutes of this second half in the quarter-final of the Championship Cup. Tries in that first half to Mayhew, Tem, Nico and Elder, and 3 of them converted by Umaga. Still, attention being given to Britain, and a chance for the forwards to have a huddle and talk about what they're going to do. So a dangerous position this, Josh, and stating the obvious, they'll want to start playing rugby in the Bedford half of the field. They've got some work to do here. Quick turnaround for Nottingham on Friday night in the league. And despite the fact that Carnegie won't get promoted, probably, well, hopefully, aren't, they're out of danger as far as relegation is concerned. Good scrum pick-up by Tem. He's a live wire number 8, and when he gets into open space he can go, but he's closed down. But they have made it out to the 20-metre mark. Counter ruck from Bedford is effective. Have they turned this ball over? There's a right scramble on the floor. Tarua's in there acting as scrum half. Ball goes out. What can they do here? It's Romain that takes it. He's got his scrum cap on, his blue scrum cap, and he's made some meters as well. Brasilia just waiting for Wilson to come and give him an offload. Back to Tarua outside the 22, puts up a bomb, going to land on the 10-metre line. Umaga's there, knocks the ball back, takes it as well. It's the captain Mayhew that has it. The referee says it was knocked forward. I disagree, referee, and that's a call from the touch judge. Your view on that, Josh?
I think looking at our exit strategy there, I just don't think the kick was executed perfectly enough. With our Vimto options, we try and get them into the 5 metre on the opposite side as much as we can, but just by doing that and putting the kick around 20 metres infield, we just give Bedford 2 sides to attack, and that's not ideal with how I've seen them attack in previous games.
Well, there's another substitution being made. Sean McCarthy's off, and Hayden King comes on, and he's as wide as he is tall. There's always an argument, I think, in rugby union to limit the number of subs. You've scrummaged, and Nick Mayhew's had some medical attention as well, and now he comes up against a fresh pair of legs in that front row. It hardly seems fair, does it? But anyway, scrum down to Bedford, just inside the Carnegie half, 15 metres out from this near touchline. Referee wants it reset. And it's noticeable the experience that Lee Dixon's exerting on this game. He's in the ear of the referee. He's just having a quiet word. He's not overdoing it, but he's making his presence felt, and he's stating the Bedford case to the official, the Premiership referee, Craig Maxwell-Keys.
I feel looking at the game at the minute, I think whichever team scores next is pretty pivotal in the way this game's going to unfold.
Agree. And if Carnegie can score next, this game is dead. Bedford will fancy their chances if they get across the whitewash. Solid scrum. Where's the ball? It's stuck, and Dixon has to go hunting for it. No. Bedford. Oh, that was Nico biting in. Crowd think the ball was knocked on. No, it wasn't, says the referee, and he's the man that matters. A little flick pass. Bedford just trying to play barbarian rugby. They know that it's so important to score. Offload to Carrick Smith in centre field up to the 22. This is dangerous from Bedford, but Carnegie defensively are aligned across the field. A little skip pass. Elder just holding back off the tackle as Bedford decide what they're going to do with it. On that far side, comes back into centre field. Williams, just good footwork from the big number 8 for Bedford. The visitors seeing more and more of the ball. Carrick Smith with the carry, 20 metres out. This is dangerous. It's the hooker, Charlie Clare, as Dixon feeds to nobody in particular, but it's a score to the left wing. Ryan Hutler, 10 tries in the league, and he's got one in the cup this afternoon. He was unmarked and he had a run in.
I feel like that's the impact of Lee Dixon right there. We spoke about how slow the ruck was in the first half, and just looking at that, Bedford look like a different team. They're winning collision, they're offloading, they're in behind us. They've got that quick ball, we're not setting the fence, and they've scored, and credit to them. We don't look like the same team now just because of how they're performing.
So we've played 57 minutes here at Headingley. Bedford are on the score sheet. They trail with the conversion to come by 26 points to 5, and it's Lewis Robling, former Dragons man, Wales under 20, that has a touchline conversion. He struck it well, and he struck it through the uprights, and that will give the visitors a huge amount of confidence. They trail by 26 points to 7, and there's a trio of substitutions being made by Carnegie. Hill, Nixon, and Woolstonholme is coming on. So let's see what effect that has, particularly from the replacement scrum half.
So one player we spoke about a lot in the opening of the game was Elijah Nico. Just quite recently, we haven't really said his name.
No, he's been quiet. But Carnegie have hardly had possession in this second half, and Williams is rising to the task. He fancies his chances, and it's Bedford again. They're looking to run out their 22, and this is the dangerous Bedford side that we know. Mayhew is there with the tackle, 30 metres out from the Bedford line, and now it's Carrick Smith, former London Scottish and Chiefs man, that takes the ball through the forwards. Bedford, good defensive work though from Carnegie, just not able to get away from the clutches of the home side at the moment, but they still retain possession. Bedford, that is. Dixon, Hayden King is the ball carrier, the prop, driven back to their 22, but Bedford still testing Carnegie defensively. Nico with a good tackle, Umaga came in as well, lost his footing. Bedford, Tem with a tackle around the neck, but he released. The ball is loose, says the referee. Pick up from the Bedford forwards. Oh, good counter drive there from Tom Hill. come onto the field of play. Bedford having to slow play down. Tarur takes the box kick on the halfway line, steps inside one. He's looking for some support, goes to ground on the Bedford 10-metre line. Wolstenholme with a pass there to Romain in centre field. Good work there from the Irishman, rolls and makes a couple more metres. Elder thought about passing I should say, and then he puts the kick in and it was judged to perfection. Goes in, what, 10 metres? Well, the touch judge has given that. He says it went out 18 metres from the Bedford line. Another substitution being made, Tristan Lloyd, the man from Carmarthen, plays for Llanelli as well.
In the field, number 6, Lewis Wilson.
Lewis Wilson's coming off, and I think he can be well pleased with his performance so far this afternoon, Josh.
I think he's been awesome for us. He's been physical. He hasn't played a great deal of rugby this season with injury, and he's been on loan as well, so for him to come in and put 60 minutes in, I think that's huge.
The ball is loose and is picked up, and that's a try to Carnegie. Is it Hill that's got it? The ball is down for 5th try of the afternoon. That came from absolutely nothing, from that line out that was spilled. I think, was it Tom Hill that...
I think it was Sam Nixon.
So Carnegie lead by 31 points to 7. A perfect counter to that Bedford try, and surely there's no way back for the Misters.
Yorkshire Carnegie, number 18, Sam Nixon.
You called it right. It was Sam Nixon that had the 5th try of the afternoon. And Umaga will attempt to add a further 2 points. We've played 62 minutes here at Headingley. So Umaga from the just to the right hand side of the uprights, 20 metres, 19 metres if you're being pedantic, out from the Bedford try line. Keeps it low, slots it through, and there's another substitution being made as Carnegie lead by 33 points to 7.
Who's just come on? I like to see you pronounce this.
Fa'atiga Lamalu. How do you pronounce it then? Tinga. I'll remember that.
It's Yorkshire Carnegie 33.
I'm going to have a word with Chris Sterling. He can only sign players that I can pronounce. So the restart is taken safely by Carnegie, but Bedford have not given up the ghost on this. They're pressurising. Tem takes the ball outside their 22. Wolstenholme can't go directly to touch. He's going to put a kick up to be chased by Umaga, who's underneath it. And it's actually taken well by Harry Davey. The ball back, and Wolstenholme tries a kick under an awful lot of pressure. As he was being tackled, Bedford throw the ball loose in centre field. Quick line speed from Carnegie. Good tackle coming in, a shoulder tackle coming in from Nico. Now Bedford look to go up through the middle, through their flank forward, Worthington. But I don't think Carnegie are going to give away easy chances this afternoon as they look to progress to the semi-final of this Championship Cup. They lead by 33 points to 7. Bedford, though, as I said, they've not given up the ghost, and Williams, not for the first time, carries the ball. Just a chance that Carnegie could have turned it over. Hayden Smith takes it up. The referee saying it was not forward, and it'll be a scrum down to Carnegie, 30 metres out from their line. Still some big tackles being made in this game, with 16.5 minutes of normal time remaining in the second half of this Championship Cup quarter-final. Carnegie lead by 33 points to 7. Hutler's score converted by Roblin after 57 minutes was just a hiccup, because Carnegie were able to respond immediately. So some attention being given. Is that the try scorer who's getting some attention? Can't quite see from here. Bedford got their physios on as well. And to say this is, apart from perhaps the fly halves, this is one of the strongest 15 that Bedford could have put out. To say that Carnegie have scored all these tries against them is is really, really something. It's a statement from the home side.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and I think this provides Carnegie, especially with huge confidence leading into the rest of the season. You'd face Bedford as a very confident attacking team, but the performance like this put out from Carnegie, I feel like the ascendancy is massively with them after this game.
To be fair to Bedford, they're a better side down at Goldington Road than they are away from there, but you can't have a team that plays well at home and not so well away. Scrum down, but it's a penalty that's gone against Carnegie, one of the rare penalties that they've conceded. The discipline, Josh, has been very, very good.
Yeah, it has, yeah. Look, I think the only area we've really given a penalty away is one at the breakdown, and the rest have been at the scrum. So in terms of a disciplined performance, I think that's what we're seeing today.
So just under 15 minutes of normal time remaining. Bedford have kicked that penalty to the far corner. They're 10 metres out. Can Carnegie disrupt this line out? No, it's taken well at the tail. It's dragged down, so Bedford are going to have to reset. Williams again is the ball carrier. Didn't have a lot of game time when he played for Carnegie, but he's certainly shown his worth here for Bedford Blues. Trucking it up is King, the prop forward. Still 10 metres away from the Carnegie line in centre field. Penalty given away and quickly taken by Dixon, and the referee is saying that the penalty wasn't taken from the right spot. That's the second time he's done that. Dixon in frustration threw the ball to Umaga, the referee quite rightly just brushing that aside, and Bedford will go for a scrum. They started the second half, Bedford, with a dominant scrum, and it seems to have seesawed back and forth. Carnegie conceding a penalty at the last set piece. So Bedford in centre field, bang under the posts, 10 metres out. And we can tell it's 10 metres because the rugby league markings are still on the field of play. Hutler, try scorer, the only try scorer for Bedford Blues. Again, he's hugging this touchline, and outside him is Rich Lane. Dixon, slow ball coming out of the back. Now they go to the left-hand side, and it's going to be a walk-in on the far side of the field. Bedford had their second try of the afternoon, and with the conversion to come, they trail by 12 points to 33. This would be the turnaround of all turnarounds if they can win this one.
I feel like the momentum is with Bedford at the minute, but I just Carnegie looked like a different side. In the first half, the defence was relentless. They're very composed in attack, but since we've come out for the second half, we haven't really had any attacking ball apart from an error from Bedford, and we scored from. I don't know, what's your opinion on that, Hegarty?
I think the hunger is gone from Carnegie. They realise that bar a miracle of miracles, they're going to win this game, but Chris Sterling will not be happy with that. Touchline conversion is successful from Roblin, and that was a mighty conversion. Bedford trail by 33 points to 14, and we've 12 minutes, just under 12 minutes of normal time remaining here. And your thoughts as to why Bedford have managed to get the ascendancy?
I generally think it's, look, they did make a lot of changes at half time, but I think scrum half, Lee Dixon coming on is just the implement that he's had on the game, especially with the breakdown and controlling what players do and where they go. I think has been massive for them, and just playing on the front foot. I think that's one thing he's always been renowned for when he has been playing, is playing on the front with quick ball, so credit to him. You
can tell the experience of the England international. The restart landed outside the Bedford 22, and it's going to be a scrum down to Carnegie, so good attacking position for the home side. Now this is going to be some stadium to play in once it's completed. You're a Rhinos fan, are you?
I'm going to be this season, mate. Yeah, 100%.
You're going to be? What is it?
No, look, I just feel like this stadium
the atmosphere is going to be brilliant.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to make it amazing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And when you get an atmosphere, it feeds. It surely must feed down to the players as well.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, I can't really say I've ever played with much of one at the Emerald Headingley for Carnegie, but especially for the Rhinos, mate, that'd be outstanding.
Well, I was here for that 15,000 crowd on Boxing Day when Newcastle came, and it was a terrible game.
Really?
It was awful. Just when you want to showcase rugby union, it turned out to be a terrible game. But the atmosphere was brilliant. So, reset scrum on the Bedford 22, 12 metres in from that far touchline. Wilson home to feed. It's a free kick to Bedford, and quickly sprinting back into defensive duties and positions are Carnegie. Mayhew makes the tackle as Bedford come 35 metres out. Dixon talking to the referees, won a penalty. Now he takes it quickly. Referee's not calling him back. He tries to get the offload there, and a hand from Joe Buckle prevented Bedford making further progress, but it comes back the way of the visitors down the far side of the field. Under 10 minutes remaining. Carnegie lead by 33 points to 14. A good tackle coming in there from Romain. Dislodged the ball, but it goes back the way of Bedford. Dixon, he's sensing a gap. Romain again, what a tackle from the second row. A loose pass to nobody in particular, but it lands in the hands of Rich Lane. Bedford attacking down this near side through Ryan Hutler, the try scorer after 17 minutes of the second half. Tem is there, but the ball is batted back by Dixon, and unorthodox stuff becomes the way of Carnegie. The referee saying there was a double knock on. So we have to, at BBC Radio Leeds, give a Man of the Match award. The responsibility, Josh Bainbridge, is on your shoulders.
Can you pick a Bedford player?
Try Carnegie one.
Can you come back to me in 5 minutes?
Can you come back in 5 minutes?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. No, I think they need it now.
Who would you pick?
You passing? Well, I got to say, Keenan Romain's been outstanding as far as I can see.
I'm happy with that decision.
Yep, Keenan Romain, second row, is BBC Radio Leeds Man of the Match.
It's a great choice. I think you'd highly appreciate that.
You're passing the buck.
I would have given it to Lee Dixon.
Shout out while there's an injury to Grangetown Netball, who won today. Was it today they won?
Yeah, it was today, yeah.
And Bree, what's the surname?
Grierson.
Bree Grierson, star player for Grangetown Netball. So scrum is about to be reset. We have 7.5 minutes remaining in this quarter-final of the Championship Cup. A game that is being led at the moment by 33 points to 14 in the favour of Yorkshire Carnegie. Scrum. Solid scrum from Carnegie. They've got a shove on. Wilson home. Oh, a flick behind his back. A pick up from Williams it was. Dixon was Johnny on the spot. Outside the 22. This is dangerous from Bedford. Elder comes across to close down the attacking threat. But it was a loose pass and just bought some time. Dixon is there and it's recycled. Good work from the England man. It's the fly half, Roblin, that senses a gap, but he's closed down as well. On the far side there is a man over, but it's just the forwards that rumble it up. And Dixon. Oh, big tackles coming in there, particularly from Tristan Lloyd, who came in for Lewis Wilson. Forward pass there in centre field. Touch judge calls it, much to the enjoyment of the Headingley crowd. Sam Nixon, hands on hips. He's blowing a little bit. He won't have had much game time, Sam Nixon, when they come on loan. And they come on loan because they're not getting game time down at their own club. And you can do all the training that you want, but there's no such thing as match fitness.
Oh, you're exactly right there, mate. The only thing that complements him really well is he's played a lot of A-League and Premiership Cup, so his exposure to game time has been really quite high intensity, fast paced, so him coming here is a real good addition, especially to our front row. Even though he's quite young, he's got great experience scrummaging against some of the best.
When you go on loan, I mean, it is a different team, it's a different city. They're young fellas. It's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking, a little bit daunting to come to a whole new and different setup.
Yeah, I can understand that, but just think of the environment he's coming from, and he's a very respected player down at Bath. So to come to an establishment like Carnegie, I feel like it is a lot different. So he's fit in really nicely, and boys are looking up to him and asking him certain questions, which basically, what is the difference between champ and prem, and things like that concern him really.
Reset scrum, front rows go to ground. It's going to be taken again, just under 5 minutes remaining. So you had a little bit of that experience because you played for Bath, didn't you, in the cup?
Yeah, I was very fortunate enough to play for Bath against Newcastle that night. So yeah, look, it was a great experience. I played with Will Britton, who played today, and Sam Nixon that day. So especially when they come on loan here, it looks great for me because I got on with them really well. Good.
And it's the kind of experience you just want more of.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's quite infectious, to be honest with you.
Bath, have you seen their training centre?
Yes, it's not too bad.
Oh.
Yeah. Have you been there?
I haven't. I just seen it on telly. Mansion. So scrum is reset. Dixon making a nuisance of himself. Pick up from Tem to Wolstenholme. Elders outside him. Can they get the ball to Hopkins on the far side? The referee saying that was forward as well. Game just petering out at the moment. There's mistakes coming from both sides. So it'll be a scrum down to Bath. Not that I don't think Carnegie will mind this, because Bedford did have the momentum, and a stop-start end to this game will just play into Carnegie's hands. So scrum to Bedford, 15 metres, 14 metres in from that far touchline, and 5 metres inside the visitors' half of the field. Carnegie lead by 33 points to 14, and we have 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Counter drive from Carnegie. They have the nudge, but Dixon manages to get it with a pass. It's a poor pass to Robling, picks it up off his toes. Trow thought it was knocked on, but Bedford offloads to the try scorer, Hutler. Carnegie trying to drag him into touch, but they can't on the 22-metre line. Bedford going across field. I think it's the right wing, Tapley. Still outside the 22. Bedford looking to finish with a flourish. But again, good defensive work from Carnegie. Looks stretched here. People have shot out of the line or not got into the defensive line. Williams knocks the ball on, and Tarua comes and takes him to ground. Welcome relief for Bedford. If you were giving a Bedford man of the match, who would you give it to?
Lee Dixon. I think he's been pivotal in just changing momentum for them. I'm not quite sure why he didn't start, maybe just rested for the league campaign, but I would have loved to see him start the game and just have a bigger impact on the game.
Yeah, it's been a different Bedford performance with him on the pitch, no doubt about that. Scrum
What's
down.
the second half score?
Second half score, half time it was 26-0 to Carnegie, 33-14 now. So 14 points to Bedford, and 7 to Carnegie.
Interesting.
So scrum down to Carnegie, 30 metres out from their try line and 8 metres in from this near touch line. Front rows go to ground, the Carnegie crowd shouting at the officials. Mind you, Bedford, they brought a fair number with them.
Just look at the competition at the scrum between the two lines. Dixon's really giving Sam Wolstenholme a tough time.
Good experience so
for
Sam.
Father and son, mate.
Yeah, it is. Both wearing 21. Sam Wolstenholme, what is he, just 19 I think. He was on loan at one time to Ionians, getting experience. So it's
watch them now.
Again. Dixon. Oh dear me, he's just had a word with the referee and claps his hands in frustration. Yes. Well, if you like your rugby and you can afford to send your children to public school, he'll be the rugby master at Barnard Castle School next season.
Where's he originally from? Do you know?
Well, he played at Newcastle, so he must be. I think he's from. Actually, he went to school at Barnard Castle as well.
Right.
Yeah, him and his brother.
It's all about who you know, eh?
I obviously don't know anybody. So pick up from Tem at the base of the scrum. Now he sets off. Oh, good work from Nico. Nico stretching his legs. Tries a pass out the back to Umaga. Umaga gets it. Tem is the foil, and the pass from Umaga just goes straight into touch. Watkins just couldn't take it. But great work from Carnegie. And Dan Tem as a back row. He's so fast, isn't he?
Yeah,
so quick.
He's near enough a winger with a line-out option.
So we are playing injury time here at Carnegie. Nico's down, he's injured himself, sprinting out. Barbarian stuff from Nico.
Did you see the attendance?
I didn't know.
365.
It wasn't on the season ticket, so people had to fork out.
That's the season's best for Carnegie right there. Cheers for the support.
You'll get yourself in trouble. So we are in injury time, and there is a player down injured.
Elijah Nico.
Carnegie certainly don't want to see him injured. Water carriers are on. See Mike Myers go. It's after bad concussion, did Mike Myers go. Talking about it to me last week.
That was really bad, mate, in the Doncaster game.
No, it was.
God, it was actually a bit scary, to be honest with you.
He was out for a couple of minutes, wasn't
He
he?
was snoring on the pitch, mate. That's
Really?
So I couldn't watch.
Yeah, he was telling me he did suffer a little bit. Not betraying the confidences. This is a good performance from Carnegie, and be disappointed that they let Bedford back into the game, but I say let them back in. Bedford just play to the standard that we know that they're capable of. Having said that, they've only so far won the second half by 14 points to 7. So Carnegie with a line out to defend here. And Nico is leaving the field, and Andy Forsyth comes on for what can only be a couple of minutes at the most. Line out to Bedford, midway between the 10-metre line and 22. Tem making a nuisance of himself, but it comes the way of the visitors. Oh, good tackle coming in from Watkins, but Bedford managed to get the ball out wide. In fact, it was Harry Davey with the tackle. Now Bedford making ground, and Elder with an important tackle, tried to get to his feet. Williams offloads the ball. Now it's knocked on his centre field. Chance of a counter-attack from Carnegie. That's exactly what they've done. Oh, huge tackle coming in there on Watkins. God, how he got up from that, I don't know. He's come across the touchline. He's smiling at least. Now Forsyth with a pass to Umaga. Umaga with a loose pass there, but kicked downfield by Davey, pinning Bedford back in their 22. Now they look to run out, but there's a trio of Carnegie tacklers there on the spot. Have they managed to turn this over? 20 metres from the Bedford line. Yes, they have. Long passes from Carnegie in centre field. It's Tom Hill. He loses the ball, and a chance for Bedford to counter. Dixon just takes it off his toes and flips the ball up. It's harem scarum stuff. Carnegie lead by 33 points to 14. Injury time in the quarter-final of the Championship Cup. Carnegie going to win this, and we'll see who they play in the semi-final. Could well be London Irish. Haven't got a latest score from there. Hutler taken to ground by Watkins. Now Carnegie have taken this over. Wilson home. Wilson home, 10 metres from the line, comes back infield. Which way is this going to go? Buckle takes the ball at a stretch, and the momentum at the moment is lost. The ball is on the floor, loose. There's a Bedford body just crawling on the floor, managed to get that ball back. Comes back the way of the visitors, who trail here by 14 points to 33. Referee blows his whistle. It's going to be a penalty. Still playing lots of injury time here at Emerald Headingley Carnegie Stadium. So just a brief respite as Roblin will kick this penalty to touch, tries to get as much on it as he possibly can, goes off the field of play just inside the Bedford half on the far side of the field. Both sets of players know that this game is done and dusted. I don't know what the mentality is when you're in this situation, Josh.
I think for Bedford now, I think they just really want to score, to be honest.
The line out is loose. It comes back the way of Carnegie. Rich Mayhew acts as the scrum half for Forsyth. Just lets the ball loose, and Elder's going to have a run in. Will he get to the corner? No, he won't. Double tackle coming in from Bedford. Good defensive work. And that surely is the end of the game. No, Maxwell Keys looks at his watch, and it will be a line out to Bedford, 5 metres from their line. Carnegie really quick on the counter. Bedford having a conflab. Which way is this line going to go? Will it go to the 6'11" Carrick Smith? Looks as if it has done. And the ball comes back the way of Carnegie. Wolstenholme up to the line. Can't get the ball down. Is that Lloyd? Very, very close. Now they look to spread it wide. Umaga can't hold on to it. It's knocked forward. And Bedford look to counter from outside their line. Elder is there as well. The referee's playing advantage, and he's still playing here. Loud blast of the whistle, but that's only because it's going to be a scrum down, and he didn't want Bedford to carry on playing. Carnegie lead by 33 points to 14. 5 tries to 2. Always ensured of an entertaining game when Bedford are the visitors. Not that they wanted to concede 4 tries in the first half and go in 26-0 down. Great performance from Carnegie. Just waiting really for the referee's final whistle as Carnegie march into the semi-finals of the Championship Cup. Scrum down, 10 metres away from the Bedford line. Oh, good shove there from Carnegie, but Williams is doing his best to rescue the situation. I think that maybe Dixon's got the ball on the floor now. So no scrum half. Williams trying to punch some holes, but still 6 metres from the Bedford line. Playing out, and Buckle is the man that takes the Bedford forward to ground. Made a couple of metres. Still a little crossfield kick there from Roblin to Hutler. Elder takes it. Has he managed to stay in the field of play? No, he hasn't. Referee is saying that Hutler was in front of the kicker, so it'll be a penalty to Carnegie. 6 metres from the Bedford line, and I think they're going to kick for the corner. Well, this will be the easiest kick to the corner because they're just 6 metres away and 5 metres from that touchline. And it amuses me when they pass the ball to Umaga to kick it in, when anybody could have kicked that ball into touch. So Buckle to a full Carnegie line-out. Can they finish with a flourish? They lead by 33 points to 14. We've played a lot of injury time. Taken at the front and popped off from Roumain. Now they drive up to the Bedford line. They're driven towards the ball down, and they have scored yet another try. 6th try of the afternoon. There's a little bit of afters going and frustration from the Bedford forwards, but the try has been scored, and I think it may well be Dan Tem, or is it Rich Mayhew? There's high fives all round. Oh, it's Nick Mayhew.
Rich Mayhew!
Rich Mayhew. Nick Mayhew was the man that they put up originally, but it was Rich Mayhew that has his 2nd try of the afternoon, and Umaga will try to make this a 40-point game. Carnegie lead by 38 points to 14. Well deep into injury time, and it surely must be the last action of the game. So So Umaga has to steady himself, as everybody I think knows that this game is done, but there's still a job for the kicker to do. Correct side of the field for the right-footed kicker, again near to the touchline. With the angle, this will be 28, 29 metres. Oh, he just didn't connect, and it goes wild. And Carnegie have won this one by 38 points to 14. And bar for a couple of mistakes, almost a perfect game there from Carnegie.
Yeah, look, we weren't far off. I think it was a tale of two halves, especially with what we've just seen. But look, just a little bit disappointed with Bedford and what they've brought. I feel like looking at the last two games they played, they've been very dangerous. And the way we previewed them, you could tell that look, we were a bit scared of what they could bring to Carnegie here. But based on their performance, you can't take anything away from Carnegie and just how well we have played.
Well, that game was won in the first half, in the first 40, as Carnegie scored tries through Mayhew, Tem, Nico and Elder. And Bedford hardly had a look in. They just smothered everything that Bedford attempted to do and came back with more as well.
Yeah, of course. I just feel like the one thing we need to work on is flicking that switch and having that ruthless mentality and just not giving the ball away so easily. Because London Irish, Jersey and Ealing will punish us.
Yeah, it's that killer instinct. I don't know if you can coach it to players or it's just inbred, but they certainly thought that they had the game won. In fact, in all honesty, they did have the game won, but they could have made this a landslide victory. Bedford had something to say about that though, Josh.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Look, I think Bedford will be very disappointed, but look, they could be just rotating the squad to finish in the top four for the rest of the season, which I think is a little bit strange, because I feel like they could have been serious competitors for this competition, but we never know what a certain team's thinking or at any moment, do we? Yeah,
that's a strange one, because Bedford don't want promotion even if they finish top of the table. They've said that, and the cup competition would be a perfect fill-up for their fans and something to cheer about, but it didn't look as if they were up for it. Or was it that Carnegie were just that much better than them, particularly in that first 40? That was the voice of Josh Bainbridge.
Thank you very
Just
much.
give us an update on your neck injury before we go off there.
So I'm due to be having an injection on my neck tomorrow. I'll be out of action next weekend and hopefully be back fit for the weekend after, which I think is Jersey Reds.
Raring to go. You've been chomping on a bit in the commentary position, haven't you? Yeah. Well, we've seen a good game of rugby. Thank you, Josh, for your contribution.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome back.
Cheers, bud.
Yeah, you take care as he takes his headset off. I'll just remind you of the scoring sequences. After just 4 minutes, Mayhew got Carnegie on the score sheet, followed by 4 minutes later, Nico and Elder finished the scoring in that first half. Umaga, a perfect bar for one conversion, 26-0 at half-time. It was a different Bedford in the second period. Cutler, after 57 minutes, gave them just a chink of light as they trailed by 26 points to 7, but that was extinguished by Nixon scoring after 62. Another Tapley score for Bedford through Tapley after 68, and Rich Mayhew with his second try of the afternoon, sewing it up. The final score here, Carnegie have won by 38 points to 14. We'll hear the thoughts of Carnegie's Director of Rugby, Chris Sterling. You can listen to that online and in the sports bulletins tomorrow. So for the moment, it's a thank you for listening and a final reminder of the score in this quarter-final of the Championship Cup. Carnegie have won by 38 points to 14.